everyone. Welcome to another episode of Health Iterations. Today, we're going to be discussing one of the all-time great novels. It's 100 years old this year. Uh, Today, April 10th, 2025, The Great Gatsby came out on April 10th, 1925. Written by Fitzgerald. Uh, Probably most every high schooler has read the book um, over the past 100 years. And there's a reason for that. It's a good book, um, to say the least. So the book follows one character in particular, Nick Carraway, but largely it follows a selection of half a dozen individuals who all came from the Midwest, who had St. Louis, Chicago, places like that. All came from the Midwest and had very Midwestern upbringing and value system, that sort of thing, and transplants them into high society New York, Long Island, town of East Egg, and this is where all the money is in the world, basically. You know, people live on massive, sprawling estates, and they don't work because they don't need to, because they count for money, or they sold their business, or the term in the case of Great Gatsby, run bootlegging operation, things like it. It's like these are just great deal of money, and it kind of it's a really fun. It's a very funny book for one thing, but it's a very fun outlook on excess, particularly excess wealth, and it's an enjoyable uh, meditation on kind of what not having a life is like. I mean, I don't want to say that these people don't have lives, but they don't work. They don't. Most of them don't have family. Uh, they're for the most part, their social interactions revolve around fancy lunches or brunches, uh, balls, social balls, and golfing, and boating, and stuff like that. Uh, but a lot of them do it alone. A lot of them don't. It's a lot of sort of meaningless activity that's meant to fill the void of loneliness, to fill the void of, well, I don't actually have anything else to do today, so I'm just going to go down to a golf course, which is 10 feet away on the property, and just practice my putting for the next 6 hours. And then my servant would come and bring me my lunch, dainty little sandwiches, and cups of tea, and drink about pinky up in the air, and that sort of stuff. And Fitzgerald, being a Midwestern, he was born in Minneapolis, I believe, uh, is kind of making fun of it. I mean, it's in a way, I don't think it's meant to be, but it reads today, to me at least, it reads almost as a satire of these goofy ways of doing things from 100 years ago. Goofy people with all this money who just don't know what to do with it, so we're just gonna spend it and enjoy it, but not really enjoy it because we get yourself keep up with the Joneses, the Gatsbys, the Buchanans, uh, and so the whole for the most part, not the whole thing, but a lot of the tension in the book is that push and pull between a rich mentality and poor mentality, life of luxury and excess and lavish living versus a life of getting by and actually enjoying your money and things like that. And that's something it's a weird place to put the tension. And the only fiction I can think of, piece of fiction that really discusses that. Um, really can't think of much else really talk about that sort of thing. Um, so, like I say, it's a really enjoyable tension right there. And then, of course, you have the inner workings of these people's personal lives. Who's having an affair with whom, who's willing to be more honorable and take the blame for an accident, who's willing to lie, or who's not lie, but who's willing to sell out their friend or their acquaintance to get petty revenge on them. Ultimately, end up killing them. Uh, and what it's like to give up your value, your morality, uh, or not. So the other part of the tension is where the Midwestern value system comes in, and Caraway wants to remain honest and practical. Enjoy his money, enjoy his life, but don't go overboard. He's not in it for the excess. Versus some of these other characters who, again, from the West, fall into the high society culture of the Eastern Seaboard. And in that regard, it's a really good book and really relevant to today's world. To what will you hold true to your value system, or will you be swept up in some crypto scheme, influencer, this, that, or the other thing? Uh, and that's a question that we all have to answer for ourselves. Uh, and Fitzgerald doesn't answer the question, but he makes you go think about it. And so that's all a hallmark of a great piece of literature or a great movie or whatever, where you want to go back to it to think because it makes you think about X, Y, Z. And then as you're thinking about X, Y, Z, you also connect the dots and realize, oh, I never noticed this part. I never noticed this character, this characterization. And that's, like I said, to me, that's the hallmark of a great piece of fiction, whatever it is. Great piece of art. So, uh, can't recommend it enough, really. Great Gatsby, 100 Years. It's a good book. It's a fun book. It's a short, easy read. It's like 100, get 100 to almost 200 pages. My version, at least, my copy. But real short. I read it in a day, maybe two. Uh, it's, it's a simple read. If it's something that you haven't revisited since high school, now's the time. So, thanks again, and we'll see you next month.